Hi, friends. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to my podcast, One in a Billion. This is a podcast for human transformation and personal development. And of late, I've started interviewing successful people. And today, we have with us Ashwin Yugendhar. He is from Chennai. Ashwin is a learning consultant and facilitator at TAFE Private Limited. He says his profession is training, passion is training, and purpose is training. He is a certified emotional intelligence coach, and he's been in soft skills training for more than 15 years. He has trained over 500 students and mentored them to earn a job. He's a big advocate of Kaizen principles and Sanatana Dharma. Through his YouTube channel, he tells stories from ancient scriptures so that people pick up some good philosophies from these stories. He is also on his journey towards getting his credentials from International Coaching Federation as a coach. Uh, Ashwin, it is indeed a privilege and honor to have you in this podcast. Welcome to the show, Ashwin.
Thank you so much, Satish, for all those sweet words. And really, really great and an honor to be with you on this particular platform. And all kudos to you.
Thank you very much, Ashwin. Um, Ashwin, let's start this conversation from a quote that I have in my LinkedIn profile. It's a very interesting quote.
Hmm?
It goes like this: Nature loves courage. You make the commitment, and the nature will respond to that commitment by removing the impossible obstacles. Dream the impossible dream, and the world will not grind you under, it will lift you up. This is the trick. So, what I infer from this quote is, Ashwin, some people hold themselves back. I see you as someone who has the courage to create this YouTube channel and make these videos so that people will get benefited. There are some people who just don't start, who just hold back and say that if I make this video, how will people judge me? How will I look like in the video? All this, the fears that they have. So you have the courage to start, and you have this dream of impacting people's lives and making a positive difference. So how did you develop this courage, Ashwin?
Yeah, thank you so much. This is a wonderful quote, by the way, that you quoted. It's such deep meaning that it holds. And as to answer your question, how did I find this courage? It's more of like from my life story and what I have seen right from my childhood is that I had a passion for adding value to people's life. So not probably,
Mm,
I wouldn't call myself that great into it, but in whatever small ways that I could do, I usually try to do my best. And it all started with my family. So more of the courage, it was the
mm,
passion that I had. And in my family, as we grew up, we grew up in this particular scenario where many people call us this middle class
mm.
mentality. And my
Right.
parents, yes, my parents, they used to work hard to make ends meet. And I used to think about how
Mm,
can I make my parents life better. And this passion became a purpose, and when it got deeply ingrained in me when my mother developed a mental
mm,
condition called as schizophrenia, which is a kind of a bipolar
mm,
disorder. And I wanted to do my best
mm.
in order to uh, at least not, if not cure, but make her my mental condition better. And that's how it all started.
Amazing, man. All right, we all have our families and our childhoods and the schools that we went to and the people that we met over the years. These people, they shape us up, and it's great to know your journey. Ashwin, you work as a learning consultant and a facilitator at TAFE. Do you want to share your present role of work at TAFE?
Yes. So what I do is that I do a lot of learning consultation, gathering requirements, and helping people out to know the skill gaps, and probably design the delivery and the learning system. It could be something like an e-learning program which could be used to bridge the skill gaps, or a workshop, or a classroom training. So this is broadly what I do
Mm.
in TAFE.
Okay. And Ashwin, do you want to share some memories from your childhood, like your school and college days? Some something that stays in your mind for a very long time. Any interesting stories?
There are many actually, lots of memories. Let me just try to recollect. So there was this. I know my relatives stay in Hyderabad. So every year during summer vacations, me and my parents and with my sister, we all go to Hyderabad and enjoy a wonderful time over there. And
Mm.
the particular apartment in which my aunt stays is
Mm.
actually beside a hilltop, which is called as Kapadia Lane in Hyderabad. And
Mm.
so through my
Mm.
aunt's backyard, I can see the hilltop actually. And
Mm.
now it's all blasted, evened out. So there used to be quite a bit of vegetation over
Mm.
there, like kind of a forest area. So during my childhood, I
Mm.
was friends with the son of the Adobe man of the entire apartment. So he used to carry
Okay.
the clothes of all the people, iron it out, wash it, and his son was a very good friend of mine.
Mm.
So we used to
Mm.
go all the way up, start uh, you know uh, plucking flowers, playing hide and seek over there. So at a time when
Mm.
kids
Mm.
used to play hide and seek under the garage of the apartments, we used to go the
Mm.
hilltop and start playing over there. And those were really sweet memories. And this particular friend of mine is actually, was like my bosom friend, I would say. And even
Mm.
just recollecting about him is bringing back so many sweet memories. So those were the times, we were
Right.
just carefree and we used to play a lot, just not even afraid of what would happen to us. So those were wonderful memories.
Mm. Mm. All right. Yeah, I can deeply relate to what you're saying, Ashwin. I grew up in a very small village in South
Mm.
India,
Mm.
and we had this farm. We had cows. We had goats, and there are lots of interesting things that happened in the childhood. My parents didn't have enough money to even give me proper education.
Mm.
They were struggling to make ends meet, and I remember walking to school 5 kilometers from my village to the other village, and coming back in the evening. So every day I would walk like 5 plus 5. We
Mm.
couldn't even afford a bicycle at the time. So it was only 3 4 years later we my father managed to purchase a bicycle, and I used to ride the bicycle later. And even at college, when I went to college, and the total expenses for a daily travel would be around 20 rupees. Okay. So if I ride bicycle 5 kilometers up and down, then I get to save 4 plus 4 8 rupees. So from the 20 rupees, I would try to save that 8 rupees by riding 5 kilometers up and down. And that is how my childhood was. And looking back, I don't have any regrets. My parents have done whatever possible they could do at the time, and I'm really grateful for having those journeys in my life. And looking back, I don't have any regrets. Ashwin, we
Such an
as coaches,
inspiring
we are
tale, actually.
yeah. Thank you, Ashwin. We as coaches, we try to create this positive impact in the world
Mm.
that we are living
Mm.
in terms of, if you see organizations and companies where uh, majority of employees are working, and if you look at the total population of India, almost 80 85% of people, they go to some kind of a job. Only about 5-10% of people, they have a business and they are all
Yes.
well set. So in this business places and these workplaces, and I see a lot of stress and anxiety, burnout, a lot of they are not happy going to work. And I see that we need to cover a lot of ground in terms of bringing about this awareness as to how we can make this workplace a better place, so that it's good for employees and it's good for the organizations also. The organizations are in a place that their rush for making profits and growing their organizations is also very important. On the other hand, you will see this employees not really happy. I see some when I see some employees, I categorize them into four quadrants. People who have skill but no passion, and there is one quadrant where there is no skill and no passion, and there is one quadrant, no skill but there is passion, and there is very rare set of employees, they have skill and they're very passionate about work. So what can we do? I know you are in training and mentoring, and you're a learning development consultant. What can we do to bring about this change so that we can make this workplaces better?
That's a lovely chain of thought that you have brought, Satish, because it is the need of the hour today. Looking at the world that
Right.
is around and the way things are functioning in the mad rush of profits and development, business development, and other aspects of monetary and materialistic benefit, we are forgetting the crux of human living. That's the truth. And
Mm.
as you said, what we could do to make this better, and you beautifully put it into four quadrants with the skill and passion as the x and y axis, I believe so. And what
Right.
I see is that I got certified in yoga during my earlier days. I was there in Andhra Pradesh for 4 years, got trained by a realized master. And what he used to tell me
Mm.
is that if you don't do something that naturally comes to you and you're not passionate about it,
Mm.
you're bound to go through stress in
Mm.
the workplace today. So, as you beautifully
Right.
categorized it, there are times when people are passionate, but the work that they do or the skill set or the competencies for the work that they do is not something that comes to them naturally. They have to put a lot of effort in learning.
Right.
And with the kind of the world that we are living in right now, you have to learn everything in a very short span of time and start proving yourself. That's how the world is functioning, and we can't we can't blame that also. So it's very important for people to take the time out and see through things if it comes to them naturally. For example, let's say for me, uh, training came naturally to me. I was right from my childhood. I was a good public speaker, though not great. I started
Mm.
improving with as time went on, and during my earlier days I used to love communication skills coaching, but I was very passionate about
Mm.
it. It came to me naturally, but I did not. When I used to do
Mm.
sales training, it used to stress me out little. I was passionate about it, but it was not something that came to me naturally. I'm not this cheesy
Mm.
sales guy. So it is very
Mm.
important to choose something which comes to you naturally so that the stress can be reduced a little. That's one
Choosing
aspect.
is okay, Ashwin. Yeah, please go on.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, you can choose a job that you are very passionate about, but there are these people who work for some companies like 5-10 years, and they get into this comfort zone,
Mm,
and they have their EMIs to pay and bills to pay,
mm,
and suddenly making a transition to
mm.
something else which they are passionate about is not easy for everyone. I'm very privileged to quit that rat race of nine to
Mm,
five job, and
mm.
I'm doing something that I love and that I'm passionate about. But not many people have the courage to quit and do something else.
Yes,
So, what would you say to these folks?
absolutely. That's a great question again. So this is where I bring in the concept of three P's, which is very similar to Ikigai in Japanese. I
Right.
formulated this a long time before, but not knowing what I was doing, I was a little inexperienced at that time. Now I find when I relate it to Ikigai, it's beautifully correlating. So I call this as the
Mm.
profession, passion, and purpose. So the moment your
Mm.
passion and your profession, at least your passion, not your profession, becomes your purpose, you will have the courage to take that leap of faith. This is what I found in many people
Right.
whom I've seen who have transcended the transition stage gracefully. At least initial
Mm.
stage they had hiccups, but they came out really very well. So to find out that purpose, okay, this is what I meant to do, this is what I have to
Mm.
do if I need to lead a meaningful life. So this is where you strike the balance between successful life and significant life. So people are going behind successful
Mm.
life, but they're forgetting the aspect of being leading a significant life. So if you want to really
Mm.
live a significant life, sleep peacefully every day and the night. Okay,
Mm.
so that leap of faith needs to be done, and the purpose needs to be found. So why I'm here? What do I need to do to make the
Mm.
society a better place? What is the problem of the society that I need to solve? And what are the skills that I have
Mm.
naturally and what I'm passionate about, which through which I can contribute? As you said, this takes some
Mm.
time, it takes some courage, but the moment you find out that purpose, that break even point, that's where, my friend,
Mm.
everything will fall in place.
Right. And this is a reminder to the quote that we opened with. If you have the courage, the universe will remove the obstacles for you.
True.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Right. Right. Ashwin, I have this question on what I call as emotional fitness. You see in workplaces or anywhere else, people, being impatient a little bit. Like if you're going to a supermarket and you have to wait in a queue to get your bills, suddenly if there are 3 4 people in front of you, you get impatient and you don't want to wait. And similar case at roads, if there is a traffic jam and everybody wants to overtake everybody and just push forward. And in restaurants, you order your food and the waiter doesn't show up for about 10 minutes and you get impatient and you just look here and there and start shouting at people. And so this aspect of emotional fitness, people don't really are aware about, they are not aware about. So how we can go about creating this awareness and making emotionally fit people so that it's easy for us as citizens to live in the world.
Nice thought process. I really appreciate your chain of thoughts, Satish. Beautifully put forward. So, when you say about emotional fitness, first we have to delve deep into what is called as emotion. So,
Hmm.
as far as what I have learned, it's a huge topic, very deep, and there's so many dimensions to it. As far as what I have learned and what I've experienced in my life, what I've learned through my gurus and my peers, it's emotion is nothing but energy
Hmm.
in motion. When you feel that energy, it
Hmm.
becomes that expression of emotion. And you get restless only when your thoughts get attached to that energy in a very chaotic manner. So we call it as thoughts, energy, and feeling. So that's how the emotions get created. And usually people get restless and all this chaotic condition, like people taking whatever routes they have to go through in traffic, not waiting in the queue, a little patient to wait, developing the patience to wait in the queue. So we have to understand the minds of people. Let's wind the clocks back for 50 or
Hmm.
70 years ago. Life was much more
Hmm.
difficult for people at the time. They are the ones who did not have time. They did not have washing machines. They did not have
Right.
vehicles. They had to walk their way through to every place, though the population was lesser at that time. So today, that was the only advantage that they had at the time. Today, everything is an advantage except the population. So everywhere a place is crowded. So that's how it is. But the technology has developed. So as Sadhguru Jaki Vasudev says, we are technologically sophisticated, the most sophisticated generation we could ever
Hmm.
see in the history of
Yeah.
mankind. So what is lacking is
Hmm.
that at that time people had a mind that was pretty mature, and the number of thoughts that they run in their mind was far lesser. They used to have this peaceful times, solitude, they rest, all these
Mm.
things happen. But today's world, scientists say that somewhere around 70,000 thoughts run in people's mind every single day. So what happens is
Wow.
that
Mm.
along with it, when the energy and emotions get attached, you will feel like cracking up. So the best way to do is reduce the number of
Mm.
thoughts. Spend times in silence. If you are
Mm.
waiting in queue, unfortunately, I'm telling you, even I have been a victim to this. No, I've felt things because sometimes when things happen in my family, and I feel irritated standing in a queue. All these things have happened, but what we could do
Mm.
is that take a deep breath, try to reduce the number of thoughts in your mind. So thinking about the next moment and the past moment and all these things, try to see the beauty of what is around at that particular moment. This is one way we could handle it. Second is that
Mm.
send, spending at least 30 minutes of silence every single day, which will help us a lot.
Mm. Right. Ashwin, beautifully narrated. I love what you shared. Um, I am someone who does meditation on every single day. Uh, I was very fortunate to meet my mentor like 3 4 years back, and
Hmm?
he introduced a practice called as just be. Uh,
Hmm.
you don't have to think anything. You don't have to breathe, observe your breath, or do anything at all. Just sit silent for about 15 minutes in a day. And I started back in the year 2020 2021, and this single practice of 15 minutes of just be has completely transformed my life. And I applied this wherever I found myself stuck. I would, if I'm facing a very tough customer at the bank. I was working for a bank, so I would just, after the interaction, I would just close my eyes for a couple of minutes and just use the just be practice, and that was very helpful. And I also used to take this 5 minutes walks in between at work. I used to work in a place called Adyar at Chennai. So they have this good trees and good streets to walk around. So I would just go for this 5 minute walk and come back. And all of a sudden you will feel a whole lot better, and whole lot emotionally balanced. And you can almost feel like you're on top of your game. Uh, so for you, Ashwin, personally, how does your morning routine look like? What do you do?
Yeah. I must be at the office at 8 o'clock because since it's a manufacturing company, we have to be really early.
Mm.
So I get up anywhere around 6 to 6:30, and
Mm.
start taking care of my parents' needs. So they're little dependent on me,
Mm.
so I take care of my parents' needs,
Right.
and then
Mm.
I do little of meditation. So meditation, it's a
Mm.
too big a word. So I've been a practitioner of yoga and meditation for the past 11 years, since the time I met my
Amazing. Mm.
master. And I do this
Mm.
very useful technique called as candle gazing, lamp gazing. So you'll be look at the flame for at
Mm.
least 10 minutes a day. It's a
Mm.
beautiful process which could change. And that's one thing which has added a lot of value into my
Mm.
life. So I do that. If when I find time, I do physical exercises, asanas, or other vyayams they call in yoga. So I do that, and then I start to my office. So it's pretty early, 8:15. I have to be there, maximum 8:30, and I there, and that's how my
Mm.
routine looks like. So first I get up, finish my all my personal chores, and then take care of my parents' needs
Mm.
and also my wife's needs if it arises, and then do my yoga as much as that my time permits, and then go to my office.
Amazing, amazing, Ashwin. Because these days, I don't find people taking care of their parents, and I want to take a moment here to appreciate and applaud what you're doing. This is really great, and you're a great leader, and you're setting the example for the other generations to follow. This is great. Ashwin, you spoke about your master. Do you want to share how you met him and how things have happened after you meet him.
Yeah, that's a wonderful story. I have to really share. Thank you so much for creating this space. This was almost 12 years ago, and I was just a young guy, 24, 25. I was working with an engineering college in Nellore. So I was all alone over
Mm,
there. My parents were here, and I was little, when you work in a far off place, little lonely, and
mm,
not proper place to live in, home or anything, so you feel little depressed at the time. So I was little depressed, and also all the my mother's mental condition, that was the time it was surfacing. Actually, we were
mm,
we knew that there is some condition going on, and my father was also finding it very difficult to handle, and money, everything was dependent on me. And so all these thoughts and
mm,
things coming up, I felt really very depressed and bad. And so I was searching for some kind of, initially I wanted to learn martial arts. I thought that would be a good way to, I was also physically weak actually,
mm,
so I wanted to strengthen myself. And there is
mm,
in my college, one of my students suggested, he was a kickboxer, he suggested there's a master called
mm,
as Sureshwara. He lives in a temple actually in Nellore, and
mm,
he has a foundation called as Maya Foundation, and which is called as Mata Atita
mm.
Yoga Abhyasa. It's called as, and
All right.
he introduced me to the master, and my master just saw me. Okay, he said, you have something in your mind, and okay, physically it is going to be okay for you to practice martial arts. And he said, but I don't think that is going to be enough. But since you've asked for it, okay, I'll teach you martial arts. And he taught me boxing for 1 month, and it's too much
Mm,
for me on my body, and I couldn't take further. And the way he taught was the traditional boxing,
mm.
and 1 month my body started shivering. That nothing I could do.
Right.
My body couldn't sustain
Mm,
that kind of thing. And I said, Master, I can't take this further. And I said, I knew this. Okay, you learn yoga, that would be better for you.
mm,
And he taught me yoga, and the way it changed me at my physical level and at my health condition. I used to fall ill very frequently, and that
mm,
reduced. And second thing is
mm,
that I had this strength coming from within myself, saying that okay, we could handle the family condition that is going on, the things that is happening with my parents, and we
mm,
could handle it. 4 years with him, honestly, I went too deep. Actually, I was went to an extent where this whole world is not permanent and all these kinds of things, because he's a realized master. So
mm.
when
Right.
you work with a realized master,
Mm,
that's how you become actually. And when I was used to talk about this to him, he said that no, this is not the time for you to think in the this way. So there will be a time
mm,
when you have to think this way. Now there are the certain things which you have to do. I'm not going to say that you will find it out and figure it out. Go back to Chennai, start
mm, mm,
taking care of what you have to take care, do well, and when the time comes, you will come back to me. He said. Until now, the time has not come back. You won't even know. I'm not even
mm,
able to get in touch with him on the phone. He's somewhere in the Himalayas or in the north. We don't even know. He's not there. That's what I could actually
mm,
say. And with this, I came back and I started practicing. And right now, all thanks to him, so many things happened in my life, and I was
mm.
able to handle and manage because of his blessings.
Wow. Thanks for sharing that story, Ashwin. Many people will get inspired by listening to you. And
Thank you.
Ashwin, in one of your in one of your YouTube videos, you talk about Om chanting and its
Yes.
benefits. I am someone who got benefited by Om chanting. My
Hmm.
master, my mentor, who introduced this to me, and back in 2021, I remember him sending a message to me saying that we have a small WhatsApp group of about 100 people where he shares some positive messages on a daily basis. So in one of his messages, he talks about how Om chanting is beneficial to the body and the mind. This the humming sound of sound, right? That produces something like nitric oxide in your body,
Exactly.
and nitric oxide is something that is used in morphines. Morphines is uh, painkillers. Painkillers have morphines. So if you are going through some pain in your body, this Om chanting will certainly help. whether it's back pain or headache. I used to have this. I had a nose surgery back in the year 2007. I applied for Air Force and I got selected. And as a flying officer, I was very excited to join Air Force.
Mm.
And they put me through this medical test for 5 days. And the doctors found out that something was wrong with my nose. I was feeling perfectly fine and I didn't have any problem breathing or anything of that sort.
Mm.
But then the doctors at the Air Force suggested me to go through this operation. So I got admitted in a hospital and got the surgery done. And long story short, I didn't get the job at Air Force because of the problem with my nose. But then because of the surgery that I had to undergo, it it gave me headache from the year 2009 10. Almost 7 8 years I would have this morning headache, and I would feel horrible, man, in the morning because of this headache. I have to either have a paracetamol or a balm to apply. So after practicing this Om chanting for the past 3 4 years, I don't remember a day when I had headache.
Wow, lovely.
Yeah. So anything more that you can explain about this Om chanting and how it will benefit people?
Yes, but this story is really, really inspiring because I would say this is one of the peak benefits of home chanting that
Right.
anyone could experience. I know about headaches. Really, they they are really a pain in the body. So yes, as you
Right.
said, home chanting. Yes, it secretes or develops nitric oxide, which is a natural painkiller. Creates the natural painkillers in
Mm.
the body. It's called as endorphins. As you said, it's one of the
Yeah.
morphine category chemical component. And yes, no, your Om chanting has got several other benefits. So most of the time, people relate the Om chanting to the makar, the chant, but the Ah and Wu has also
Mm.
got a lot of benefits. So usually, when you chant Om through the Akar, so there is Aum and also there is also
Mm.
Om, and there's just the makar chanting also, just
Mm.
the chanting also. When you chant through the akar, you develop some kind of an energy in your abdomen. It is so lower part of the
Mm.
abdomen, which is considered to be the Swadhisthana and the Manipuraha chakra in yoga. So that is where the
Mm.
energy gets stimulated. And when you chant through the akar, any ailment related to your stomach or intestine can also get solved. And ma is
Mm.
the head part actually. So a, u, and ma. So u is the chest and the ma
Mm.
is the head part. So all the and again the head is again a representative of the seven chakras. There are other seven chakras within the head also. So which is very deep part of the yoga. So all those chakras get activated, and when it gets activated, it also
Mm.
gives you a lot of benefits, materialistic and only spiritually also. If anyone asks how can I be successful in spiritual as well as material life, I would recommend Om chanting.
Mm.
Om will give you
Mm.
both the benefits.
Wow. Thanks for sharing this, Ashwin. Last week, I had the opportunity to visit my mentor, and he has 4 grandchildren, and he told me that he named the youngest grandchildren as Om. On daily basis, you can call this little fellow, and it's also a part of Om chanting.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Mm. Okay. So, is it okay to assume that you learned all these things from your master, or you picked up this from elsewhere?
No, every single thing I'm speaking right now, I learned it from my master. He pick and chose, and it's not like I went and asked him. So he will give you based on your stage of evolution. He will give you what is necessary. So
Hmm.
in fact, if you take yoga, I don't know many of the asanas what many other people practice. I just only knew few
Hmm.
asanas. So he mostly gave me a lot of breathing techniques, Om chanting meditation techniques. So he gave me a lot of the because he
Hmm.
thought that is what my inner core is would require. So he will give it to you. So everything that I'm
Hmm.
speaking right here was given to me by him.
Talking about breathing techniques, Ashwin, uh, if I have to face a tough customer or going for interview where you feel you have some butterflies in the stomach, um, I take a pause. I spend about 2 minutes just closing my eyes, just observing my breath.
Hmm.
At least 5 times if you do, and if you do 10 times, you will feel amazing. So Ashwin, let's shift gears here and cover something else which I feel is very important. Um, we as coaches, we are trying to help people in living their good quality lives, and we are also trying to help people in achieving their goals. So what are some of common challenges that people at this day and age face in daily lives, and how do we help them overcome?
So, what I personally see in coaching and what people find very difficult is one is managing their performance appraisals and their own perception
Hmm.
about themselves and what their bosses have about them. That is one thing. Second is
Right.
managing burnouts. This is one thing which many people
Hmm.
face. And in fact, my sister and my brother-in-law working in US Apple. My sister is right now not working in Apple.
Hmm.
She came out of that, and they have said there is so much of burnout in Apple. People feel like that.
Hmm.
There are some teams which is really, good, and some teams they feel they experience so much of burnout. So that is the second thing which people face. Third is managing teams. How to manage another person, peer or team members,
Hmm.
and managing boss. So managing people is one thing which people find very difficult. And so these are the three areas most of the
Hmm.
people need a lot of think through coaching and workouts.
And I also sense that the factor of empathy is missing everywhere. Um, See, you work in an organization, and sometimes you have these employees who fall sick very often, and they find it difficult to convey to the manager asking for a genuine leave if they are not good, and more vast majority of the managers are lacking this empathy factor.
Hmm.
So how, it is only getting increasingly difficult for people as we are progressing forward. We say that, yeah, thanks to the technological advancement, and we have all the tools, and we have AI right now, and you don't even have to do your job. AI does your job, and you have systems and processes doing the job. But then this basic human requirements like empathy and showing care and concern for fellow human being. So what we can do, Ashwin?
Very well put, Satish. Yes, that is a glitch in today's world. It's not just happening in the corporate world, it's also happening every single day in the society we see when we are traveling on the roads and all the place. It's
Hmm.
still, it is not too bad, but it is, I see it is dwindling. And in certain places, it is good. But overall, as a mass consciousness, I'm saying empathy is going down. So, one is the reason is that uh, as life becomes commerce and trade oriented, money or
Hmm.
materialistic oriented, all these aspects of human values comes down. So let's take in our schools how much percentage of marks is allocated to value education. Very minimal, very minimal.
Hmm.
So the value development, the
Yeah.
moral development, the personality, character development, and trying to show compassion and empathy to fellow human being is actually coming down. So how part, how can we actually make things better? One is that practice small acts of kindness, if possible not every day or once in a
Hmm.
week. small
Right.
small acts of kindness, like buying food for a person who is hungry. I wouldn't necessarily say to someone a kind of a beggar or someone, but at least someone who is hungry.
Hmm.
So we call it as
Hmm.
the Jiva Karunya in yoga. It's considered to be compassionate, being compassionate
Hmm.
to all human beings. That is a too big a level, but at least small acts of kindness every week, that would,
Hmm.
I feel that would create the habit of empathy.
Wow. Amazing. I can deeply relate to what you're saying, Ashwin, because my master, my mentor is someone who tells us once in a while that you should practice this random acts of kindness. What we used to do when I was working at Chennai is that every Saturday we would cook meals at our home around 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock, and myself and my elder one, we would move out to the streets and look for people who are hungry. So we were feeding like 10 people per week, and it looks like I'm not doing it anymore. I have to restart it. This is great. Thanks for bringing this awareness in me, Ashwin. um, yeah.
Kudos,
Ashwin,
Satish. Actually,
we
I
can
have to
talk
say this.
for
Sorry, no, but
yeah.
I know
And,
the very act that you were doing it before is something, honestly, I haven't started doing it. I usually buy and give it to people, and or at least give some money. So that's
mm,
what I do. And since the fact that
mm,
you already done it before is something fantastic. This is one act I would say can change the society in the longer run if everyone starts doing this.
right. And I want to share a story my mentor told me last week. And he was at Bangalore. One of his sons stays at Bangalore, and during this winter time, he's 85 right now. Okay, so during this winter time, in the middle of the night, he purchased like 100 blankets from a store, or managed to mobilize from various people this 100 blankets, and he went personally in the middle of the night to people who are sleeping on the streets, right? So he gave blankets to them. So, and some people, they don't even know that they've got the blankets from this person. They would be just sleeping, he would just go put the blanket on them and he would just walk away.
Lovely.
So that is yeah, very inspiring. We all can do so much, and which we are not doing. I feel this conversation could be a starting point for us to contribute more to the society that we are living in. uh, Ashwin, we can talk for hours together, and I'm being mindful of your time, and
Yeah.
I have just a couple of more questions. Yeah, talking about personal development and coaching. um, what are some of the benefits if someone is new to the concept of coaching and someone is considering hiring a coach?
So you're asking that what are the things, what are the concepts that people have to be wary of when they're hiring a coach, or how is it? Just to get
What are
the
the benefits
benefits.
benefits of hiring a coach? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. So, what I have personally seen being coached and also coaching. So most of times I coach college students, and working professionals is still little lesser, I would say. What I've seen is that many a time people have the answers within themselves. People have the kind of
Mm,
identity that they want to develop is already there within themselves. So the
mm,
unwanted parts have to be chiseled away, and a coach plays a great role over
mm,
there. It's about you chiseling yourself, and the coach will point out the blind spots or create the awareness, the space of awareness
mm,
within themselves. Now, what many people have said is that when I've coached them, they used to say that after getting coached, I'm now realizing the answer was always there within me, but I've been looking somewhere
right.
else.
Mm,
And the coach is beneficial to help them out to find that particular spot within themselves. So this is where the coach plays a great role by asking those explorative questions, foundational questions,
mm,
and the who form of questions. This helps them out a
mm,
lot, and this is where it benefits them. And also when kind of an accountability also comes to people, because many of them, when they commit something to others, that's when they start doing it,
mm.
and a coach plays a good role over there.
All right. For the listeners and viewers who are either watching through podcast or YouTube, if you need a coach, please consider Ashwin, and he will do a great job. And he is already an amazing human being, and he will, of course, add value to your life. Um, Thank you, Ashwin, for what you're doing. Ashwin, just one more question here. I have this quote from Winston Churchill. It's one of the top 10 quotes, in my opinion, top 10 quotes of all time. So, this is how it goes: success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. So, according to Ashwin, what success looks like?
To me, success is where you evolve yourself after each failure, learning from your failure, and
Hmm.
achieving a life of significance is what I consider to be success.
Wow, great. And what is the impact that you want to have on the world through your training, mentoring, and coaching?
I want people to be a better versions of themselves, which is already there in them. And this is what I want to
Hmm.
point out to everyone. It is already there in each and every one of us. We have to just chisel away the unwanted parts. And that's what I want to
Hmm.
do for people.
Wow. Great, Ashwin. We are almost nearing the end of our conversation. Um, do you recommend any books that you have read, or any podcast, or any other channel that you have watched or listened, so that people can get benefited?
So, one is, if you're asking about books, one is Atomic Habits, which is actually uh, created a
Big
lot
fan
of,
of him, James Clear,
yes,
right?
James Clear,
Hmm.
yes, created a lot of
Hmm.
awareness within myself. That is one book I would recommend. And second is, I would
Hmm.
recommend, this is a very old book, but it's a beautiful book. The very fact that it has been in the market for almost around 40 years or 50 years itself is a testimony of its efficiency. It is Think and Grow
Hmm.
Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have two books of Think and Grow Rich. If any of the listeners, if you're looking at buying one, don't buy. Just give me a DM. I will courier it to you.
That's good. That's good.
Any other channels or any other
Yes.
blogs that you look at, Ashwin?
Yeah. I'm a very ardent follower of podcast by Ranveer. Is now it's called as Beer Biceps.
Beer
It is,
biceps.
yes,
Hmm, I know him.
and
Yeah.
it's a I don't know how this guy manages to get people of such wide spectrums, and each and every person who comes in is a walking
Hmm.
encyclopedia in whatever they do.
Right.
So I would
Hmm.
recommend
And he's
to,
very young, man. He's like 25, 24.
yes,
He's
yes,
very
yes.
young.
He was a fitness trainer,
We
I
are
think so.
right. Wow. Yeah, people out there, this is an advertisement for beer biceps. And I started my podcast by looking at the folks, like in US. I have lots of I follow lots of podcasters in US. One is Tom Billieu, and the other one is Jay Shetty, and there is this guy called
Mhm,
Tim Ferriss, and he wrote this
mhm,
book called 4 Hour Work Week.
mhm. Yes, yes,
And
yes,
one of
yes.
the reasons why I quit the job is, listening to the his podcast and reading his book. So yeah, you one book itself is a person's lifetime. And people write books because they want to share their stories, and these are all successful people. It's like, if you read one book, you're spending your time with them. Just you will feel like you can really connect to them and learn from their life. So thanks, Ashwin, for doing this. And for listeners and viewers, we will put Ashwin's contact in our show notes. You can definitely reach out to him, and he's there to help. Is there anything else at all, Ashwin, that I did not ask you want to cover?
I think this is perfect, Satish. I don't think so. You left any dimension untouched.
All right, all right. We can probably look at doing our part two when we, grow up. And I'm trying to do 100 interviews this year. Let's see how that goes. I've done four, and you're the fifth one, and all five people are successful people and leading an amazing life. And For people out there, connect to these people. All the contacts are available in my episodes and in the channel. Please connect with them, and you will make your life better. And Ashwin, it is indeed an honor and privilege to have this conversation with you today. And I'm grateful for your time. And I wish you all the best in your journey, man.
Thank you so much, Satish, for having me here. And you're doing a wonderful job. All kudos to you. And my prayers to God for your growth and everyone's growth in their life.
Thank you so much. And that brings us to the end of this podcast. Uh, I wish you all an amazing day and week ahead. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.